I had almost forgotten how annoying the siren on a Parisian police car actually was. But I remember now. Maybe when they're out of debt, they can fix that. June 3rd, 2026. And yes, I know people want to talk about Paris and the UK and why Paris would riot over winning a soccer match. It's pretty clear why the UK rioted. Why Paris? Why would Paris riot over a soccer match they clearly won? Well, that's because they're actually not all that happy. Shockingly, Paris isn't happy, and sometimes when a team that represents your country does something good, you use that as an excuse to express your disdain for the people in charge of your country, and that's what happened in Paris. This is the original comic reporter, and yes, Paris, the place that used to be a luxury destination for anyone who needed a discount photo shoot or a place to fail at making clothing, is now a place where everyone goes to fail at simply being a person. Yes, I'm going to be roasting Paris in this video pretty hard because after looking into what could have possibly sparked a riot over a soccer game they won, I found out the riot probably wasn't about the soccer game at all. Sorry, Macron. I'm sorry, Macron, but no. No, yes, the spirit of sport should not lead to riots all over France, sparking 900 arrests and immeasurable amounts of property damage. But luckily, that wasn't the trigger for the riot. So Macron was right. He was right. That is not the pure sport of soccer, and it still isn't. As you can see, this mostly peaceful riot looks a lot like a riot, but it's not, and you can tell by the Roman candles being fired horizontally and police with batons chasing down partygoers. But the truth is, this is just logical conclusion for the country that is pretending it's not in a recession for the past 9 years. See, if you're Canadian and watching this, I'm going to make you feel a whole lot better about Canada right now. Not that you should feel great about where we are, but see, Canada has a national debt of $1.2 trillion dollars with a population of 42 million. And that shouldn't make you feel great about yourself, but let me help. France has a national debt of $3.5 trillion. Dollars. $3.5 trillion dollars in debt for a country of 69 million people. Would you like to make the comparison? Canada, $42 million. Dollars. France, Canada, $1.2 trillion dollars with 42 million people. France with $3.5 trillion dollars in debt for a country of 69 people. Who would you rather be? I mean, that put France at a whopping 118% debt to GDP. Yeah, 118%. That's really bad, actually. It's really, really bad. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. Now, you're going to say, yeah, but Canada has 110% debt to GDP ratio and 2.4 trillion dollars in debt. What are you laughing at? Well, I'm laughing because I'm entitled to laugh. And second of all, Canada's debt is split between federal and provincial and local. So we have 110% debt to GDP ratio, yes, across the country, but it's shared between the provinces and the 2 and our federal government carries $1.2 trillion dollars in debt. Absolutely. But our provinces carry and service their own debt. The Maritimes the most. Manitoba's got the highest debt to GDP, and you really don't see the comparison until you add the numbers together and then add all the liabilities. That's the only reason we're even close to France. There's a reason Alberta can fix itself. It's not centralized. We're designed to bail each other out. France is literally on its own. The entire country feels it when somebody builds a parking garage. There's a difference, a rather big one. I'd call that a recession, actually. I'd actually call that insolvency, but I'm not French and math is racist, so I'll leave that to the creative accounting to them. Canada, in comparison, is at 42% debt to GDP. And we're in a recession, a small one. I mean, it's like 0.1% or something like that. Not a big one, a small one. Our accounting is not as creative as France's accounting. That's because we don't rely on making clothes. The, the French are broke as a country. Canada's salvageable. We're broke, but we're not like broke. We're not French broke. It's not even close to as bad as France, and there are a lot of European countries dealing with this right now. So when Mark Carney says Canada is the cheapest it's ever been, he means in comparison to France. That's what he's talking about. I mean, who would have thought that who would have thought that a country whose entire economy is driven by tourists with too much money, stupid girls wearing stupid clothes, and immigration would be bad with money? Not me. I would never have guessed that France would be bad with money. How does this happen? Yeah, you thought Canada was in rough shape. Thank God you're not in France. I mean, yes, there are immigrants in the crowd, and yes, there are migrants in France, and yes, there are migrants causing problems in France, but I don't think this is caused by migrants. This looks more like the population in France just decided it was time to take their country back, so they waited for an excuse and then they started blowing stuff up because that's what you do when you're French and unemployed. It's something to do when you're bored, right? Just burn down the city. I actually know a few people who went to Paris from February to April. And as much fun as they said they had, they all smile professionally. So it's really hard to tell how great the trip actually was. And I think most of them actually went because Paris is really cheap for tourists right now. I'm not actually sure. I know a few who went to Paris. Only one of them in particular was particularly happy to go. It was kind of a difference between, look, I'm going to Paris, and everyone else who was like, oh yeah, great, we're going to Paris. Yeah, why not? Yeah, seriously, yeah. Only one of them was actually excited to go, and that's a big drop off in popularity for Paris, like big time. I hear they're actually paying influencers to not talk about their time in Paris. And I'm guessing that's because the homeless encampments and the assault and stabbings and stuff. I'm guessing, I could be wrong. It could just be the praying all night long. The constant, never-ending praying. Whatever. I don't know. The point is that when you ignore people who are obviously right, you end up with a large amount of trouble, and you can't really use creative writing to fix a country. I mean, you can use it to fix a relationship. You can use it to talk to a crazy person off a cliff. You can even use it to try to talk a psychopath out of ending your life before your time. But creative writing, creative words can all be used to do all of those things, but you cannot use it to get more money into a bank. You just can't. No amount of words has ever extracted critical minerals from a mine. Yeah, Emmanuel Macron can be as mad at the people of France as he wants, but I mean, when they all think he's trying to kill them, I mean, yeah, you should probably expect that every now and then someone is going to pick up a Roman candle and, you know, get something started. That's how we party in the country of France. In fact, the same thing happened last year. Yeah, Paris Saint-Germain wins the title and the citizens burn the city down. It's tradition now. It's a cycle. I'm just not sure why anyone's surprised. France has a problem, and the problem is its leadership is incompetent, and its leadership is also arrogant, and that's not a good combination of things for a group of leaders to be. Neither one of them are good, and they should probably stop calling the people of France hooligans for just expressing their displeasure at the way their country has been financially put through the meat grinder. And eventually, you know what? If this gets bad enough, Paris will be worse than just burning cars and one dead guy in an intersection. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And that is a really rough thing to say. Just saying. Good night.